Well, what is the state of land expropriation without compensation? We've certainly been talking about it for long enough. That's a question many South Africans are asking, and they're still asking. Now, this is all being asked again as the committee looking into amending the Constitution to facilitate and answer that very question has requested Parliament to grant it another 30-day extension to complete its work. Well, let's find out where we are on this and why the delay. I'm joined by Parliament's ad hoc committee chairperson, Dr. Mathole Motshekga. Dr. Motshekga, good morning to you. Always a pleasure in speaking to you. So a 30-day delay has been requested, or 30-day extension, if you prefer that term, been requested. Good morning. Why is that?
It is not really a delay. You will know that we are dealing with an amendment to a fundamental law of the country, and we are also a multi-party democracy. And we have to ensure that all political parties represented in Parliament, however small, they are taken along. We do not want to use the numbers game, because a constitution is not a constitution of the majority, is the constitution of all the people of South Africa, both black and white. Secondly, our democracy is both representative and participatory, and we acknowledge the fact that as parliamentarians, we don't have the monopoly of wisdom. We have to listen to the people and ensure that the product is what reveals the will of the people, of all the people of South Africa, both black and white. Now, we discovered that we allowed all political parties to have bilaterals to try and find each other. And now, after that process, we found that there are areas where they don't yet agree. For instance, the nil compensation versus without compensation. There's also the question of the jurisdiction of the courts, whether to exclude the jurisdiction of the court or not. But you know that we have a separation of powers, and no power may take away the jurisdiction of another. So that is a matter that we're still dealing with. There's also a question of state custodianship. You know, when you talk about state custodianship, some people can interpret it as nationalization. So we have to clear all those things. Lastly, there's the question of the cut-off date of 1913. There's an argument that the land was actually taken away from the indigenous African people before 1913. 1913 Act consolidated the disposition of land from the African majority. So if you say the cut-off date is 1913, you mean that Africans may only claim 13% of the lost land, which consists of reserves. So those are the issues. So we don't see this as an unreasonable delay. We think we are giving South Africans an opportunity to find themselves, so that we have a constitution that will be binding on all of us, a constitution that will be respected by all the people of South Africa.
Dr. Motshekga, I don't think many people will disagree about obviously taking all the time necessary and giving due diligence when assessing a very complicated, understandably complicated issue like the land question. So this 30-day extension has been requested. Let us assume it is being approved and you get the 30-day extension. Once that extension is completed, what's the timeline? In the last minute I have with you on this issue, what is the timeline once you get given this extension? Is it going to be this year, the next 5 years? What do you tell the people of South Africa about the timeline of the land question?
It has to be this year. Parliament is going on recess. We will also request an opportunity to have Parliament convened to deal with this matter, so that we finalize this matter not later than August.
Dr. Motshekga, before I let you go, it would only be correct of me to allow a response from you. I'm sure you're aware that the Motshekga Royal Council is accusing you of trying to hijack the dynasty through Princess Mathole. As far as the Motshekga Royal Council and royal family is concerned, I would like your response to their allegation before I say goodbye to you as a right of reply.
All I can say is that whatever I'm doing in terms of the order of the court, which determined that the father of the child, when he was still alive, and the royal family were not able to provide care and protection to the child. And the court decided that I should my wife and I should provide care and protection to the child until she's 18. I have no interest in hijacking the queenship. I'm a royal person myself. If I had wanted that, I would go and contest a position as a royal person, but I'm not. I'm not that. I'm protecting a child. I'm acting as an advocate of children's rights.
Are you speaking to the Motshekga Royal Council? Last question to you.
Pardon?
Are you speaking to the Motshekga Royal Council? Are you conveying your messaging to them?
It's not necessary to do that, because when the court awarded me the custody of the child, I invited them to the court. They were there on 2 occasions. They had an opportunity to convince the court, and they failed to do so. So there's nothing for me to discuss with them. My mandate is to provide care and protection to the child, and I have no other interest, financial or otherwise.
I appreciate your time in speaking to us about the land issue and land expropriation, and also your response to the accusation, the allegation by the Motshekga Royal Council. Dr. Motshekga, Dr. Mathole Motshekga, a pleasure speaking to you this morning here on ENCA.